Welcome back, everyone. All 5 of you. So today we're going to finish something we started. So if these parts look familiar to you, it's because you probably saw my video on the Commodore SX-64 disassembly and repair and all that. What we had to do was we had to dismantle the keyboard to try and repair the membrane, the flexible membrane, that turned out to be damaged beyond repair. Although it's still potentially possible to repair this through some very delicate means. What I tried to, so here's what happened. When I removed the contact layer, the membrane, from the keyboard, from the PCB, the contact pad stuck to this strip right here, and there wasn't much of anything I could do to undo the damage. I tried buying flex circuit paint, or it's like a repair paint for flex circuits. It's a conductive paint, really, so I pretty much can't describe it any other way, but that's what it does. It conducts electricity, and I tried to paint the contacts back on, and unfortunately the damage was too far underneath this masking layer for me to do anything about it. But I kind of got a little bit hopeful because I found out that there was a gentleman out in the UK who actually has these flexible membranes custom made in China. And he orders them like by the probably buys a quantity of 20 to 50 at a time, and when those are sold out, he has more produced, and this way he's not stuck with hundreds of unsold membranes. So when I found out that these were being reproduced, I got excited and I tried to order one. This would have been about a couple months ago. I think it was in December, perhaps. Maybe January. No, it must have been in December. And unfortunately, I found out that due to COVID, production was down and they didn't have any to sell. So I contacted the seller and I said, listen, I really want one of these, so if you do decide to produce them again, please let me know. I will buy one. And sure enough, about a month ago, I got an email saying, hey, they're back in production, so come on and order one if you'd like. I'm going to put the details in the video description so you can get one yourself if you decide to do so. It is a UK seller, so there is some currency conversion and all that going on. And it's going to take a while. It took about a month to get this. I actually kind of forgot I ordered it, and then it showed up in the mail today. So let's take a look at the new one and compare it to the old one. I really love it when vintage equipment, or obsolete equipment in this case, totally obsolete equipment, can still be repaired using parts made today. It really is a heartwarming, and it's just a good thing. Because it's good for 2 reasons. Number one, some of these old machines, like the Commodore SX-64 and like the Tandy 1000 that I just recently did some upgrades to, there's enough of them out there to support a small boutique manufacturer who decides to produce or reproduce parts that were commonly failed. And by buying these parts, you're supporting the people who are producing them in the first place, giving them a reason to produce more and more of these things. So it's kind of one hand washes the other. It's a great thing, it really is. Now, I don't expect this replacement to be as good as the original, but it's a step in the right direction. It's better than nothing. Okay, so I just opened the envelope. I can't show it on camera, but it shipped in this flat envelope. Nothing fancy, just a cardboard. Looks like it's a homemade envelope. And I'll share the website in case I forget to put this in the video description. That's where you can get this if you want one, if you want to build one yourself. This is the new membrane. We'll compare it to the old one. I'm trying not to touch the contacts. Alright, it looks like it's an exact duplicate, which is incredible. There are some changes. The way the tracers are routed are a little bit different, but it's as long as you know, each pad goes to the correct pin, we don't really have a problem, do we? Alright, so I've already cleaned this. Actually, I'm going to clean it again. I'm going to clean the surface of this keyboard to get any residual oils off of it. But the thing is, with the Commodore SX-64, they're selling on eBay for, you know, into the $900 range, which is mind-blowing to me because they're just that desirable. But then again, what's happening in most recent times, I'm finding that a lot of vintage equipment is really going up in value. Computers that weren't selling for more than a couple bucks just a few years ago. For example, the Apple IIc. I've been watching those go up in value. I own one myself, and it's just incredible how much people are paying for them. You know, a 2GS, an Apple 2GS, like the one I've got behind me. You know, those are going for several $100 in good condition. It's just there's really a huge market for nostalgia in some ways. Doesn't always have to make sense, but anyway. So we're just going to drop this into position. Now this particular kit came with a spacer that they used to sell separately, but it seems to be included now. Now that spacer actually has to go on first. And that is supposed to be there to prevent false keystrokes or phantom keystrokes. Because this particular membrane is a little bit different, it's not exactly the same thickness as the original. He just includes this as a little extra bonus. Apparently, some of the earlier productions of this particular membrane have resulted in phantom keystrokes as being a problem. So we're going to put that layer on there first, and then we're going to put our membrane in its place. Now, if we succeed, and I have every expectation that we will, but if we do succeed, I am not keeping this machine. Shocker. No, I am not keeping this machine. I have already decided what I'm going to do with this thing. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it in a little bit. Okay, I found the parts. So this little bar actually goes over top of this here. Trying to, I think it goes on like that. It's actually threaded from the back. What I want to do before I attach that bar, I want to start popping keys into position to ensure that this assembly is centered and placed where it needs to be. Okay, so if you're wondering what the orientation is for this little pressure bar thing, it's always good to look at the original membrane and see what shapes have been impressed upon it for 30 plus years. And based on the way the pressure marks are on the original, it doesn't show up well on camera, but I can tell that it goes down this way. So it's going to go on like this, in that orientation. Okay. And you can look at the distinct patterns at the bottom of that bar, and you can definitely tell that that's the only way it could ever go on. And it uses two small machine screws. Whenever I reassemble a keyboard, I always like to do the outside first, kind of like building a puzzle. Those are the keys that will define visually where all the other keys land. Once you get that outer perimeter done, the rest of it is like smooth as glass. And being this a super non-standard keyboard, this is not any kind of layout I've ever been experienced with. So It just makes it that much easier. See, these Commodore keys, if you've ever worked on one before, they are all multiple function. Like, they all have double, not, I don't want to say double shot. That's not the term I'm looking for. They're printed, looks like silk screened on the face of the key, and then the top of the key, I'm not really sure what technology they used on that, if they're double shot or not. But the front is definitely silk screened because I can tell it's wearing off on some of the keys just from, you know, normal wear and tear. QUIOP. So I just, once I get all that non-standard stuff put together, I can just zip through these because everybody knows what a QWERTY keyboard looks like, and you should know without even thinking about it where all the keys go. Alright, so we've got the keyboard all plugged in. And we got power hooked up to it. Now we got to figure out what the power switch is, because oh, there it is. Okay. Shut this guy off. Okay, here we go. Not doing anything. Lock key works. I'm getting a response from each key press. But I don't know. Let's try to restart it again. It's giving me a response, like I can hear it or I can see some action on the screen. I wonder if there's a problem with the keyboard cable. Did I lock that? Yeah, you gotta make sure you lock these. There we go. Freaking cats. It's not doing anything. Not getting any response at all of any use anyway. Let's unplug the keyboard again. Why don't we take some deoxit to those pins and see what happens. Okay, I found the problem. It's unfortunate too. I don't know if there's anything I can do about it, but we'll try. So if you peel this back, you can see, well, there's actually two problems. I didn't do a very good job cleaning those contacts. I didn't want to scrape them, and, well, that's not the problem, really, though. The problem is that these don't line up exactly where they need to be. They're not landing where they gotta land. This whole thing needs to be shifted upward a bit. Actually, there were two problems. Number one, the membrane was positioned too far down, but this was still stuck to the board. I thought this was part of the board. It's not. But that is the problem. Not anymore. We took care of that. I'm able to put this back together, and I think reasonably it will work. So let's put those keys back on, plug it back in again, and dear old Michael Finnegan, again, will be typing away. It is lined up correctly this time. I just verified that as best I could, but it's good. It's going to be fine. I think that's all we had a problem with. Just those two little conundrums. So maybe line it up to the connector first, then put your keys on. Tighten this bar down to make sure that it stays where it's supposed to be, and then put your keys on. You should be okay. Okay, round two. So, again, we found two problems. Misalignment. It doesn't take much to misalign that particular part. It just had to be shifted about, oh, I don't know, less than a 1/16 of an inch. Problem number 2. Part of the original keyboard membrane was stuck to the board, and it looked so perfect. I thought it was part of the board. Now that was my fault. I'll take the blame for that. But what it really was the back side of this guy. Okay, here we go. Turn it back on. Now, for good measure, I also deoxidized all the keyboard connectors and plugs. It's a kind of a no-brainer. You gotta have to do that. Here we go. A, S, D. Ooh, look at that. So far, so good. Delete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, plus, minus, pound sign for some reason. Data error. ZXCV. Okay, I think we're up and running. So I don't know any Commodore commands, so I've looked up a couple of them. I put a floppy disk in there that came with the machine, so let's try to list the contents. It should be load $8. So load quotation mark. Where's the quotation mark on this keyboard? Did I forget to put that on? Oh, no, I didn't. Loads, Commodore, load, quotation, $8. Where's the $sign key? Oh, this keyboard is wild, man. Where's the dollar? Oh, there it is. Load, $8. So, this should read from the floppy, right? There it goes. It's reading. Uh-oh. File not found. Okay. The disk doesn't appear to be physically damaged. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a disk drive cleaner in there. Rather than disassemble the whole thing, we're going to put a cleaning disk in there. I actually have one. Or 5 1/4 inch. Or I had one. Okay, there it is. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that same command, but we're going to just use it to clean the heads, just for precaution here. Just going to dump a little bit of alcohol in this pad. That's a little too much. Let's wipe that off. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do with this machine in a minute. I have plans, but not for me. All right, let's try that again. Load $8. Alright, that's going to clean our heads. File not found. Dad not found. Remember that? Richie Rich? Alright. No? Okay. So those heads are nice and shiny. Alright, I have a couple of Commodore discs that I haven't done anything with, so we're going to try a couple of those and see. So load $. Where's my $8? No, $. Backspace. 8. Loading ready. Okay, so that actually worked. That actually helped. So then type list. Backspace. Okay, so, okay, now we need to load this max headroom thing. Okay. So, load, file name, 8, okay. Look at that tiny screen. Oops, what did I do? Load max headroom. Comma 8. Comma 1. File not found error. How about load Genesis? Loading. Land of Confusion from Genesis. That's not a good sound. So this looks like it was a Land of Confusion from Genesis, but I'm not hearing anything. So it could have failed. Yeah, it's not working. All right. Let's okay, let's reset it. Alright, I got 2 diskettes that came with a Commodore that was given to me years ago, and I just forgot to get rid of these disks. So this is a model 1541 test demo diskette, an original Commodore disk. We're going to give that a try. Okay. Load. Oh, this is hard to get used to. I grew up on DOS, so give me a break. Comma 8. No, it's not loving that either. Let's try a different one. It's not loving it, for sure. Let's try this one. This has Hero, Spy versus Spy. Spy versus Spy in Mr. Dew's Castle. Let's try that again. Maybe I have to hit the reset button. Okay, well. Load. Oh, none of these discs are working. Let's try the other side. Can you get the damn disc out? There it goes. Kind of wonder if the drive is bad. I doubt it. These are built like tanks. Oops. No good. File not found. File not found. Alright, well, you get the idea. Come on. Get out of there. Alright, I cleaned the heads about 3 more times, and it actually loaded the demo disc. Oh, there we go. Printer test, disk address change, check disk, load address. It's all there. Okay. So why don't we try... I'm going to give this disk to... well, we'll get into that in a minute. I'm really interested in hearing these music files. So let's try that one again. The thing is, these discs are so very old that I mean, they're old, so they're not in the greatest of condition. Shift. Let's load the contents into memory. List the files, and we're going to try loading the files themselves. Genesis. Comma 8. Let's try it again. No. Fail. All right. Well, that was a fail. So let's get rid of that. And I think, unfortunately, that disk is probably bad. But we know that the drive works because the demo disk worked. So let's try another one. And off we go. I want to try this cartridge that came with it. And it was a cartridge meant to increase or decrease the amount of time it takes to start the machine. These are very common. I've seen these with Commodores before. It's the Epix Load Fast cartridge. So let's pop that guy into the cartridge slot and see what happens. Here we go. Yeah, it loads it faster. It was already up and running. Good. Okay. Okay. Now this disk wouldn't do anything before. Now we got it to at least show contents. So let's pick one. So load. I'm getting the hang of this. Mission.mus, comma 8. I definitely get the appeal. Didn't do anything. Load sidcat, comma 8. File not found. Yeah, I think the problem we have here is that these discs are just really bad. Now, let's talk about the fate of this beautiful little machine. Well, here's the deal. I could sell this for a fairly hefty payday. I could put it up for sale right now, and I'd say within about a couple weeks, maybe even less, I would have an offer of, you know, between $600 to $900 based on what they're really selling for in working condition. Now, this one has the benefit of having a brand new keyboard membrane and a brand new what the hell is that chip called? I can't. The chip that always blows up. The Commodore blow-up chip. It's got one of those, brand new out of the box. It runs, it's complete. It's in pretty good shape. What I could probably, I think with the condition it's in, I could probably get it. I'm just gonna say $600-700 out of it, depending on who's looking and when. Now I could do that, but there's another option. I could give it away. Before you get excited, this is not the kind of giveaway you're thinking of. I am going to return this machine to where I got it. It was given to me by a coworker who I've shared an office with for 14 years. And him and I get along very well. I have a great deal of respect for him. He's been in the IT industry or business for his entire life. And he bought this machine when he was probably in high school. And he's owned it ever since. He only gave the machine to me because he really didn't know what to do. It was sitting in his garage and he was moving. And he had to get rid of as much stuff as he could as quickly as he could. So he was kind of having like a fire sale. He tried selling it to me at first. And I said, you know, I'm really not a Commodore guy, as I've said before. And I thought about it. I could have had it for $200. That's what he originally wanted. And I said, you know, I'll think about it, but no, not right now. Well, it finally came down to the wire, and it had to go. I mean, he was running out of space. I mean, he was running out of storage space. Him and his wife were empty nesters. They're downsizing. They're selling their house. They're getting ready to build a new house, and it got to a point where he had to do something. So he said, just come and get it out of my garage. I don't want it to get thrown away. So it's exactly what I did. And I never really knew what I was going to do with this machine or if I was going to keep it or not. I decided after figuring out that the machine really does have tangible value, that it is worth fixing. It's worth putting some money into, and that's exactly what I've done. I've put a little bit of money into it. I'm into this machine about $70. Well, him and I were talking the other day, and I said, how would you like to have it back? And he said, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I just couldn't think of anyone. Oh, that won't all fit in there, will it? I just can't think of any other person on this planet who should own this machine besides you. Because it's yours. I mean, it will always be yours. And it just seems like it needs to go back home. And he agreed. He's like, well, he didn't say, yeah, I know, but no, he said, oh, really? And he seemed happy about that. And I said, well, yeah, once I get it running, I've decided I'm just going to return it to you. Would that be okay? And he said, well, yeah, I guess. So I could tell he didn't want to get rid of it in the first place. It had sentimental value to him. And I'll just shove it in there. What the hell? That's a really dumb design. You can't put the diskettes. Really? It's a stupid design. Well, anyway, so it was kind of like, you know, I just feel like the guy has done a lot for me over the years. I've worked with him since I was a kid. You know, I was 20 years old or 21 years old when I started working there. He was, at the time, he was probably my age now. And, you know, so it's kind of bittersweet. But, you know, he's a good guy. he's been good to me, and I feel like I owe him a favor. And returning this machine to him, to me, is the only way that I'm going to return that favor. So, anyways, that's the deal with this Commodore. I'm not going to do anything else with it. I'm done with it at this point. There's nothing more I can do. It's running. It's restored. It just needs some good software and a bigger slot to put things. What the hell? I don't want to. I want to give him this Commodore disc because it's original. And it works, but I can't stuff it all in there. But anywho's, that's the. I mean, what if I? No, that's not gonna work. This cable is just too thick. It's really it. It's too thick. It doesn't all fit at once. What a dumbass design that is. They could have made this differently so that it all kind of stuffs into the same place, you know. But these SX-64s are getting harder to find, and you know, the ones that you do find, they're commanding a premium for them, and I can see why. It's a cool little machine. It's got probably one of the smallest color screens I've ever seen in any laptop, or not a laptop, but any portable. I've never seen a screen this small in color. And you know, the thing is, if he decides that he wants to sell it for a couple $100 or whatever, all the power to him. It's his to sell. I don't care. And I told him, I said, you know, when you can sell this, you can make a few bucks on it if you want to. I don't care. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this for fun. And he was happy. You know, he seemed like that was okay. All right, I get it. You know, thank you. But no, the thing is, if I had sold my Tandy 1000 years ago, I'd be regretting it right now, because that machine was part of who I am. I mean, it was my first computer, and you know, I've made a lot of money in the computer field, so you know, I feel like it just, I'm glad I didn't get rid of it, and I'm glad that he's going to be getting this. I think he'll be glad to get this thing back. You know, when he gets settled in his new house and he sets up his new little workspace, he can have this to tinker with. I know it's, I guess, just the way it should be. Anyways, I'm going to have to figure this out. I want to put it all in one package, but that's not going to happen. Really, though? Why do they make it that way? Like chances are, when you... All right, these machines don't have hard drives. They never did. They never will. Oh yes, I believe there is a conversion you can do on this to put a solid state in there. But yeah, like what the hell? Like any business traveler is going to want. Oh, maybe there was a padded case that they had as an option on these. That could be it. Probably a padded case. And which discs were his originally? These two. These two were his. Yeah. But now you know the deal with the Commodore. It's ready to rock. And I am still not a Commodore guy. No. I'm a DOS guy. I grew up with DOS and Mac OS. And that's what I'll die with. And I'm okay with that. So. Until then. Oh, you know what it is? This sleeve is like 11 inches thick. That's part of the problem. Maybe I can stuff all three of these. If I just keep that other disc out of it. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Nice. All right. And that concludes our series on the Commodore SX-64. Oh yeah, one of the latches busted off. There we go. I'm going to bring this into work tomorrow and get it out of my room. Until then.